ladies and gentlemen, here we all are once again, glued to the screen. My name is Tolly Bryn. Welcome to the Joy of Awareness. Today's video is going to be about a media fast. Once again, I did a recent video on my own media fast and what benefits I have experienced from taking on that challenge. Now I just kind of wanted to go a little bit more meta, a little bit deeper into what we're doing with our attention these days. Like, everything is fighting for our attention. And I would say that our attention is probably our most valuable asset. It's really up there with family, with love, with our time on this planet, with our health. Our attention, like if we can't control our attention, how are we going to get anything done? Like, how are we going to have any motivation to achieve any goals? How are we going to have any goals to begin with if we're constantly bombarding our brains with all of this stimulation? I've found that all of the stuff that we've been consuming mindlessly, that we're being fed. Like, let's just say it like it is. Like, we're not given smartphones, obviously not, but we're convinced that it's something that is absolutely that you really need to live your life, and that it's really useful and powerful, and it is, obviously. Like, there are so many things that you can do with a smartphone. I'm recording this with a smartphone and this awesome microphone. And there are good and bad sides, obviously, but I would say that the way that we are using this awesome technology is incredibly detrimental. And I think it's, to be fair, I think it's the business models behind these large companies that know what they say. Like, if it's free, then you are the product. And I think that's really the case when it comes to Facebook, when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to Reddit, all these things. I would say especially though Facebook and YouTube, because these are, and Instagram probably as well, Snapchat. I don't know. I've never really used Snapchat that much, so I can't really speak for that. But the other media platforms, they have an incentive to keep you on as long as they can, and to keep you coming back. So that's why they've got all these colorful notification and the cheerful notification sounds and the bells and all this stuff. This is to tap into your primal brain, your reptilian brain. Your reptilian brain that's like, oh, that's red. That's an apple. That's a peach, Or it sound like, oh my God, somebody's calling me. Somebody's trying to impart information to me. When in fact it's, wouldn't you say that 98% of the stuff that you see on Facebook or that you see on YouTube is absolute garbage that provides nothing for your life? I would. In my own experience, that's been the case. Even being a self-proclaimed self-help addict, like all the videos, all the articles, and all the stuff that I read, that I've watched throughout the years, I hardly remember any of it really. Like, there's a few ideas that stick out, and those are the exception that prove the rule. Now, I'm not trying to say that all this technology is somehow bad. Like, no, that's simplistic and naive. No, it's like anything else in life. It's like a knife, A knife is incredibly awesome. Like, when you're trying to prepare food, try cutting a vegetable without a knife. Like, try cutting a fish without a knife. Like, it's not fun. Like, you have to use your teeth or your nails or whatever, or a rock, but you have a knife, and it's incredibly useful, but it's also incredibly powerful, and dangerous. I mean, it's risky to use a knife. You could cut your own finger off. Somebody could use it to cut you, to hurt you. And it can be used for great evil. It can be used for great good. And I believe that's what we have to be aware of when it comes to using this technology responsibly. I believe a media fast is a way to clear the mind of preconceived notions that we have. If you're like me, you've grown up with technology. I'm born in 92, so that means... what does that mean? That means that I grew up with the internet to some extent, but I didn't actually get like Facebook or anything like that until I was probably in high school, I believe. There was MySpace. I never actually had a MySpace. MSN Messenger, that's the earliest thing I remember. I was probably 14 or 15 when that started. So, I had a childhood that was mostly free from these internet influences, although I did play like stuff like RuneScape and stuff like that, and watch a lot of movies and television series and things like that. But I didn't have that constant stimulation at the swipe of a finger 24/7. Like, I didn't have that, and I count myself quite fortunate in that during the most influential period of my life, I was free from that particular vice. Now, there are a lot of young people growing up today who know nothing else. Like, this is their life, and I don't think those of us who are older actually realize how much this stuff influences people these days, and especially younger people. Perhaps it shouldn't really surprise us. Like, this stuff is just incredibly addictive, and it's been proven time and time again. People try to quit, they go into withdrawals, and it really, really affects the way that you think in all kinds of directions. And I'm sure you could make a case for technology and the internet in particular being a incredible education tool, and I won't debate that. Like, there's so much on there that you can learn from, that you can use to better your life. There's also so much there that can harm you, and it's just, I would say that it's not some liberating God from the machine thing. No, wait, that's not the right expression. But anyway, you know what I mean. Like, I wouldn't say that this technology is like a messiah. It's not here to save us. This is something that amplifies the human experience, and it can go either up or it can go down. Like, you can go into the deepest porn-filled depravities, violence, fear, all that stuff, or you can go high up, into the higher ideals of the internet, and both are there. I don't know if it's in equal amounts, but both possibilities are definitely there, as with any other media, I believe. But I think it's time that we start valuing our attention more. I've certainly found that after I started to basically tell myself every single day, like, remember, Tolly, your attention is your most important asset. After I started doing that, I started to become so much more aware, so much more conscious of the way that I was using my attention. I started, just taking an hour here or there where I wouldn't actually listen to something, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like, there were days where I would just listen to something all day, and this, I can tell you, is not healthy. But what a fast does, and why I keep speaking about fasts on this channel, is because I've found that fasting as a concept, I'm not talking about fasting solely from food and drink, although that is an incredibly powerful practice that you should most definitely delve into and start using in your own life. But I've just found that fasting encompasses so much more of life. A fast is just a way to see things clearly and to heal, obviously. But I would even say that the greatest benefit of a fast of any kind is the clarity that you gain from it. when you fast from food, when you stop eating for, like, when I was getting out of a very difficult period of illness in my own life, I fasted for 10 days, and then I took an entire summer where I was fasting on and off for like from maybe 3 to 7 days at a time, with eating periods in between, and I healed a major autoimmune disease that no doctor had any advice or any idea about, what it was. They couldn't do anything except for just give me stronger and stronger medication, which just messed me up even more. Sorry to say. But doing those fasts just kind of taught me, like, okay, you are actually in control of what's going into your body. And by the same token, you're in control of the state of health in your body. And I stopped externalizing that responsibility for health. Because the fast just taught me, it just showed me that I was capable of so much more. Like, that life had so much more to offer, that my body was so much more powerful than I'd ever believed. And it was just incredible. And I would say that the same thing goes for this media fast. It just shows you that as soon as you remove all the noise, you remove all this constant buzzing of information, I would say. As soon as you remove that, you start to see, like, okay, life actually isn't boring. Life actually is full of opportunity, full of beautiful, beautiful things to do, beautiful people to meet, and things to accomplish, things to build and create. The noise stops you from seeing that. It really does. Which is why I'm so happy that I decided to do this 30-day media fast that I've been doing recently. I'm on day 26 now of the 30 days. I'm going to extend it for another 30 days after that, and then I'm going to try to figure out a way to... Because I don't want to live in a cave, I want to somehow be part of society. And I have to figure out a way to acknowledge the good that technology can do, and to also be completely aware of the damage that it can do to your brain. I've taken all kinds of steps to try to prevent myself from going into the zone out zone, I guess. You know what I'm talking about. It's like you come home from work or something and you sit down in the chair and you're like, you want to do something, but you're too tired. You just want to chill a little bit, and you go onto Facebook or you go onto YouTube and you listen to a video or look at some feeds and stuff. And all of a sudden, like, an hour and a half has gone by, and you're like, it's dark outside. You have even less energy. Your brain is kind of like, you know what I mean. So I've set up a few things on my electronic devices to make sure that this doesn't happen. I would say that the number one thing is that I started using this baby instead of my smartphone. They call it a dumb phone, but I think it's a smarter phone. It's way smarter than the smartphone. At least it's a smart choice to make. It may not, the thing in itself may not be very intelligent, but it's an intelligent choice to make. So that means that you're not carrying your smartphone around all the time, which means that you're not going to be tempted to just, which is incredibly important. You need to realize that having the smartphone in your pocket all the time breaks your attention down into minuscule attention-oids, attention atoms or whatever. Attention molecules, I like that. It breaks your attention constantly. You get a notification, you're like, oh, stop what I'm doing, check out the notification, go back to work on whatever it is you're doing. I believe that the human brain hasn't evolved to actually deal with that. And I think that's why so many of us just get messed up, just following this weird lifestyle that we've created for ourselves. We thrive when we are able to get into flow, like you're reading a book, or you're practicing a dance move. Like I was recently trying to learn how to do the moonwalk, which I love, and I did eventually learn how to do it, but it took some time, and I needed to put some diligent and unbroken effort into achieving it. And the same goes for reading a book. Like, have you ever tried reading a book and you have your phone next to you and you're doing a conversation with somebody on Facebook or something at the same time, even though there's like 5 or 10 minutes between messages or something? You're reading a book, you read 2 pages, and then like ding, you check your phone, and then you read again, and you're like, oh, I forgot what I read before, and you go back, and it just doesn't work, man. It does not work. So to end this video, I think to end this rant, really, I've just been ranting in a good way. I think ranting it's underappreciated, really. But I would like to end this video by just imploring you to think about your attention. Just be aware where it's going, and whether what you're wasting your attention on is actually serving you in life. If you're like me, if you have the self-help addiction, just think back, like, how much of what I've listened to, like, estimate first, like, how many hours do you listen to this stuff in a week? And then think back, like, how many of those hours do I actually remember? How many of the ideas that I've listened to do I actually remember now? And even more than that, like, just remembering these things isn't actually that important. Like, how much of what you've learned have you actually put into practice? I would say that's the real metric. Finally, I would say, if you decide to take on this challenge, and it is a challenge, like, it is difficult to do. It is difficult to make the choice to just skip all of these electronic media for a while, but I would recommend, like, take 30 days. Just switch out your phone. You can still check your Facebook Messenger and your Gmail or Hotmail or whatever you got a couple of times a day if you need to. Depends on, you may just want to skip it. Like, if it's not essential for your work or for your school or whatever, you might just want to skip it. But I need to stay on top of what's going on in work and at school, so I need to check it out at least once a day to make sure that I'm not missing something. Apart from that, I'm not on the computer. I'm not on my phone at all, ever. And I would just advise you to just try it, really. You may find, after you've gotten through the difficult period of like, life is so boring, as soon as you get through that, you'll see that life actually isn't boring, and there's so many things that you can do. And you'll figure out that as soon as the noise is gone, you'll start to want to put things into practice that you've been wanting to put into practice for so long, but you just never had the time because you're always listening to something, or you're always on Facebook, or you're always just watching series or whatever it is. Like, seriously, take 30 days, no television, no news, no Facebook or any of the social media, no porn, obviously, no video games. What else? Oh yeah, switch out the smartphone, get one of these. Try it out. Like, work it out for yourself. Just write down a list, like, what do I want to skip? What is essential for me? Because I do believe, like, for most people, there are essentials in the electronic world that you need to keep using if you're just going to function in society. So I do get that. But if you can cut out 95% of the noise, you're so well off, like, really. And you'll start seeing life in a totally different totally different light, I promise you. So let me just end it here. This has been Tolly Bryn. That's me. Thank you for listening to my video. Thank you for listening to my rant. May you be healthy and peaceful. Peace.